In today's video, I'm going to be picking up right where I left off last week in the process of milling my own lumber using logs behind my cabin in the woods here in the Pacific Northwest. Last week, I used my Alaskan chainsaw mill and my steel 661 to rip cut these down hemlock logs behind the cabin into 2-inch slabs. And now I'm going to use my skill saw to cut them into lumber. And we're actually going to start off the video a few days ago when my neighbor Joe helped me restack all these logs out here because I was preparing for the rain, but it turns out I've got one more day of dry weather before the rain comes. So we're going to see what I can accomplish today before it starts raining, but neighbor Joe helped me get to this point where I am right now. So let's start it off there.
Wood miser and some of those parks, they can do a really good job.
So 16 inches over here, 17 inches over here, and then I just set it. I have metal rails.
You got it, guess I'm not on it. John is gonna bounce.
Jokers. We got it. That was awesome. That's one down, lots more to go. So that's my process that I've developed so far. Grab one slab from the log, bring it over to the sawhorses, clean it off with the brush, and then take some time to measure it and see how many boards I can get out of it optimally. Just kind of depends, like, could I get 3 2x4s? Could I get 1 2x6 and 1 2x4? Figure that out, decide what I'm gonna do, and then snap a line, cut one side off clean so I have a nice clean straight edge to start with. That's what I've just done right now. And one thing that I learned, I'm always learning something, is that I should slide this all the way to the edge of the sawhorses. This. And then once it's there, I don't have to keep stepping around them. I should be able to just stand on this one side and go like this all the way along. So for those of you who haven't seen my previous videos, the first time I started cutting my own lumber like this, I tried to use an old 2x4 as a straight edge and screw it to the slab and then put my saw up against it and slide it along as like a guide rail. But that didn't really work. the blade of the saw kept wanting to go towards it and it kept getting caught. So then I just used that 2x4 as a straight edge and I marked it with a pencil. That was very time consuming. And now I'm just using the chalk line to snap a line. And overall, I like this method. The idea of having something fastened here that I can just slide it along. It was good in theory, and I do have a metal stud that maybe I could try, but this is working well, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. This is something I haven't ran into yet, but I ran into last time I was doing this, is sometimes when I'm cutting, just the grain of the wood, it wants to pinch my saw blade. So I'm using this wedge and a hammer. If that happens, I just tap it in there, spread it out so that my blade has room to spin, and then that's worked pretty well last time. All right, we're 2 slabs down and I managed to get a 2x6 out of this last one. It's got some bark on that side, but that side's real solid. And then over here, I was able to get these 4 2x4s. So it's going good so far, and I got a lot more over here to go. So I'm super excited about this, but now let's go inside the cabin for a special guest appearance. Oh my gosh. Look at all this goodness over here. We got crepes, we got strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, some Nutella, some honey. Oh yeah, lucky me, lucky us.
So I was like, oh crap. So I split them up. You go squeeze it in here, or you can like this, or you can just squeeze it out. I'm sure it'll last like for a couple days.
Last night for dinner, I tried to follow an online recipe and it was all going well until the rice cooking portion. I should have cooked the rice separately, but I tried to cook it at the same time with the chicken broth and all the other ingredients, and the rice just didn't cook, and then all the other stuff just got ruined and it was horrible. So epic fail for dinner last night on my part, unfortunately.
It wasn't too bad. Okay, maybe it was a little very crunchy.
I gotta get a close-up of my final crepe just to maximize the jealousy that you all are feeling right now. And the topper, oh yeah. Need you to back away slowly with your hands where I can see them.
Oh, you see my hands.
You did all the cooking.
Okay, I'll do some of it. Like, can you clear that up?
So Julia's breakfast crepes were really delicious. We enjoyed those. And then she came out and helped me load the rest of these onto the sawhorses. That was a big help because those are really heavy to lift by myself. I'm gonna have to do the rest of them by myself. But before she left today, she helped me do that. And then I taught her some of the ropes of what I was doing. I'm gonna show you how I do it. And this is 4 inches wide. And it's already cut 2 inches this way. That's what I did with the chainsaw. That gets cut off. So this is just scrap. If I trim that off and trim that off, I could get 2 for sure. And those would be 2 clean pieces with no live edge. That's what they call this, no live edge on it. I also cut that bigger one over there. That's a 2x6. So that's 10 inches. 4 plus 6 is 10. So I'm gonna get a 2x4 and a 2x6. That's the best way to get the maximum out of this. Now, flip this over. First one, I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I make that little incision so that my chalk line can fit in that little groove. And then I roll the rest of this out, tap on it to get some chalk on it. And then I'm just gonna sight it down to about right here. You want to do the honors? Pull it up until it's really tight, and then let go, and it'll snap along. Yep, let go. There we go.
Oh, that's
But,
so cool.
yeah, it was a little. It's best to hold it like this, with 2 fingers like that, because it got caught on your fingernail. That'll give me my line, and I run the saw right along that. And then from there, snap another line, cut that off, snap another line, cut that off. And that's it. But unfortunately, she had to go back home. She's got work tomorrow. It was a 3-day weekend, so we enjoyed the weekend together. We went on an awesome hike yesterday. Went out, got some delicious food. Overall, it was a really great weekend. There's a plane flying over. So she is going back to civilization for work tomorrow, and I need to get back to work today. The original plan was this was our final day of the weekend to spend time together, so I was gonna be with Julia all day, but then I looked at the forecast and saw that it is supposed to pour down rain the rest of this week. So I told her, I'm like, hey babe, I either got to do this in the rain, or I'm gonna try and accomplish all of this today in one day before it rains, and that would be ideal, because I don't want to have my generator and the saw, all that stuff out here in the rain, or myself getting soaking wet. I could do it in the garage, but then I would have all that sawdust in the garage, and I would have to carry all this stuff to the garage, so I definitely don't want to do that. Let's just see what I can do the rest of today. All right, people, I did it. I got all those cut before dark. So now I'm gonna go inside, get some food, but there's where the 3 logs were. Here's my nice mountain of sawdust. Here's all the little excess pieces. And here is all my 2x4s and some 2x6s there. Okay, I sufficiently crushed those leftovers, and now it is time to go back out there, even though what I really want to do is shower and go to sleep, but I'm not going to do that. All my lumber is going up here. So all of this stuff up here is kindling that I have collected over the course of recent project builds, including this woodshed here and a number of other things. I actually think I'm at the point where I have too much kindling. I have all that stuff that's up there in the woodshed that I just showed you, and this whole thing is full too. Plus all that stuff that's underneath the plastic and tarps onto the side of the woodshed from the when I made my cedar shakes. I got all that stuff too. I just have so much kindling that I have to burn through. So this is stuff that I purchased from Home Depot that I'm going to use as really straight dimensional stuff for stickers. Those are going to go in between all the boards that I'm going to put in the woodshed. They were only like $1.75 each, which is not too bad, and it's difficult for me to get real precise, uniform, small stuff like this made in the way that I'm doing this. So for this stuff, I am spending a little bit of money, but I think it's going to be worth it to make sure that my big stack up there is nice and straight and stickered properly the way I want it, so everything stays straight over time and doesn't get warped. At least that's the goal. I'm gonna do things to the best of my ability. All right, well, that's as much as I'm gonna get done tonight. I ran out of sticker material, so I can't add any more without just stacking them on top of each other, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna go put the rest in the garage, and I'll finish tomorrow.
People are going to have the ability to articulate that system of things. And the intellect are inextricably linked. This is why you keep saying as a young and shot through prosecutorial.
All right, so last night I got everything protected from the rain that I wanted to be protected from the rain. And now I'm here the next morning and it's sprinkled all night. Nothing too crazy. It's not like things are completely soaked out here. In fact, this area underneath the protection of these big branches from the tree is actually really dry. But I got all the firewood that was out there moved to right here. So it's underneath the overhang of the roof of the woodshed here. I got this stuff underneath that part of the roof, and then back here behind the cabin where I was doing my milling, I got all the pieces that were here and put them under this tarp, along with the other logs that I'm going to be using for milling. All those logs are firewood. That one's firewood. These ones are going to be milled in the future. And this up here is what I got stacked and stickered last night, and I put a ratchet strap on each end and then one in the middle, so these are nice and tight together. So I got room for some more there and then more on this side. But like I said last night, I only had a few pieces left for stickers, and I still have all of this right here that I need to figure out a better place to put. Some of it's gonna go up there and some of it is gonna have to go in here because I only have limited space up there. So I also have this lumber that's behind the garage underneath this tarp. It's been here for a while. That's all store-bought stuff that I've been wanting to move. So I'm gonna do something with all this stuff today. Get my lumber organized, stacked, stickered. It has now been a few days since I finished the milling process of my lumber here at the cabin, and here's some footage from this morning out front of the cabin. It rained pretty hard all last night, so everything's soaking wet, and this morning it was just sprinkling a little bit, but I got everything that I wanted to put in the woodshed, so it's gonna stay dry. All my necessary stuff is covered with tarps, plastic, so I'm ready for the rain. Here's some footage behind the cabin. I used that extra tarp that I had from behind the garage. Now it's covering those firewood logs. I might as well use it to keep those dry. But those other logs that are underneath the big tarps and that blue tarp over there, those are going to be milled in the future when the weather gets better. And then here's some footage inside the garage. I got things cleaned and organized in there. It was a big mess, but now it's not, so I feel a lot better about myself as a person now that I did that. And I counted the 2x4s and 2x6s inside the garage and inside the woodshed, so here's my tally of all the lumber that I got. 12 2x6s, 24 2x4s in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 48 minus 2 is 46. What did I say in there? 46 plus 24. That's 70. 71 2x4s, because there's one right here. An additional one off to the side. So 71 2x4x8 for framing. That's awesome. And 12 2x6s for headers above doors and windows. Freaking awesome, man. And I got a lot more than I thought. Once I counted, I was like, oh, I made that much? Nice. Now I am downstairs because the camera battery died when I was up there. So I got a new battery in the camera, and maybe that's a sign that I need to conclude the video. So I put all that footage on the computer. I've edited it to this point, and now I'm just going to say that's a wrap for this one. You saw me do what I did. And that's one thing that I didn't say. I don't currently have plans for a specific structure or blueprint that I'm going to use this material to frame. That's just going to be something that I'll decide in the future. I have lots of ideas of how I could utilize that, but at the end of the day, now I got a bunch of framing material, and that's really cool. So in the next video, it's going to be something unrelated to what I've been doing. It's not going to be chainsaw milling. It's not going to be lumber related. As you could tell, it's raining now. We're entering the rainy season, although the sun is coming out now. It looks like it's going to be a pretty decent day. But, and also I wanted to say, there is no law of the universe that says Diego must post a video once a week or else the world is going to implode. There's no production crew. There's no editing. I'm the editor in chief here. Here's my laptop. Here's the Adobe editing software. This is me. I've edited all this footage. It takes time, and it typically takes me 1 week to decide to do a project, to physically do the project, to film myself doing the project, and then to edit myself doing the project. Me, do all of those things, and it takes me about a week. And I've been able to do that consistently over a long period of time. Every once in a while, I'm not able to keep up with that once a week schedule. It becomes difficult when life gets busy. I have a relationship. I have family obligations. I live a real life, and sometimes it's very difficult to do that. So the plan is for next week's video to be something a little bit different, not related to chainsaw milling. Am I repeating myself? I think I might have already said this. Wow, I need to stop talking. Next week's video is going to be something a little different. If there is a next week's video, I might be taking a week break because it's going to get very busy coming up. But I'm going to try. You can count on that. I'm going to give it my best shot. So appreciate you guys checking this one out. See you on the next one. Bye.